and welcome to our student finance presentation. We're going to talk to you today about the truth about student finance. There's a lot of noise out there sometimes, and what we're going to do today is cut through that, bring you some facts, and really just reassure people that finance, money, should not be a barrier to you thinking about going to university. So briefly, we're going to cover the tuition fee loan, the maintenance loan. I will also talk about applying for student finance, additional support, and repayments. So, I just want you to have a think about these statements. True or false? To afford university, your family needs to start saving as soon as you are born. Do you think that's true or false? Student loan repayments can cost about the same as a couple of takeaway coffees per week. True or false? Lots of people never pay off their student loan and end up passing it on to their children. True or false? We'll come back to these questions, but just keep them in mind. Now, I said earlier about noise. This is some of the things you might have seen online or heard about on the news. How students are leaving university with £50,000 worth of debt. We'll talk about the debt. We will talk about this and how you make your repayments. All I want to say at this point is that it really shouldn't be a barrier, and you need to remember, where is the media coming from when it talks about this? What is their motive for their stories? And make your own decisions about student finance and student debt. So, what do we need to pay for when we're at university? The course, which is where your tuition fees come in, and then your living costs, which is the maintenance loan that's there to maintain you. I'm going to explain all these as we go through. Tuition fees. Now, we don't have to pay these up front, but there is a cost for the tuition while you're at university. It's not means tested, so that means that everybody is eligible for the tuition fee loan. Everybody can get it. Now, at the moment, the tuition fees are around £9,250 for a degree level course, and a bit less for foundation, HND courses, and different universities can charge different amounts of money. The amount you get is paid directly to the university on your behalf. So you never see that money, which is kind of good, because if you were given it, you might be tempted to spend it. So it goes straight to the university on your behalf. What are your tuition fees actually paying for? Well, of course, there's the things like lecturers, the staff who are there to look after you and teach you. Most universities have a 24-hour library and IT centre, so you can always have access to the information that you need. Universities have state-of-the-art learning facilities. That all costs money, and they'll be paying for it out of your tuition fees. That will give them the opportunity to purchase specialist equipment, and of course they will provide student services. Every university is different, and it should be a part of your research. How good are these facilities? Where is your money being spent? Is it worth it? The maintenance loan is called means tested. What this actually means is that the amount of money you receive will be tested on the means of your family. They will look at your household's income, and then they will work out how much they may or may not be able to contribute while you're at university. What you get will be paid directly into the student's bank account, so you will need your own bank account, and the amount will be split into 3, and you'll get an amount each term. You need to be eligible for student finance, and at the moment that means you have to have been living in the UK for 5 years before starting the course. There are other terms and conditions, but it's different for everybody, and everybody's case can be slightly different. So it's best to look into that nearer the time. If you have got a situation at home that you think might make it a little bit more difficult to get your money sorted, then make sure you have a chat to somebody. So what exactly are you meant to spend this maintenance loan on? Well, you'll need to pay for your accommodation. That's going to be a big chunk of the money. You'll have to pay for things like food. There might be bills to pay. You'll have to provide your own clothes, toiletries. You might have to be getting on public transport, and you might want to go socialising, which will cost you money. There might be clubs that you want to join at the university, all kinds of things. One thing that people forget is the TV license. If you've got a contract for your own room, so you're living in a room in halls of residence and you're watching telly, even if you're watching telly on your laptop, you are supposed to have a television license. You might also want to consider your mobile phone contract. Your parents might currently pay for that and they might be happy to carry on paying for it, but it's something you need to think about. So before you go away to university, you do need to start thinking about what are you going to have to pay for while you're there, and doing a little bit of budgeting. When it comes to accommodation, it does vary. The amount you can spend on accommodation will vary from different universities in different parts of the country. We've got some examples from some of the universities that are involved in our partnership. In Cambridge, we've got it ranging from an ensuite apartment costing £134 a week, a city deluxe studio apartment, £170. Then UEA, which is the University of East Anglia, they have on-site accommodation for £142 a week if it's the campus ensuite rooms, or you could share with someone and it would cost you £75. Then we've got Loughborough University. This is actually an example of a 4-bedroom shared house where you would be paying £60 a week. But you have to bear in mind that that £60 a week does not include the bills, whereas it probably bills will be included in the on-campus accommodation. These are all things that you need to think about and start asking questions about early. So maintenance loan, the facts, how much can you get? If you're living at home, the maximum loan you can get is £7,747. If you move away from home, but you go to a university outside of London, you might go to Leeds or Loughborough or UEA, you can get £9,203. If you go to London, you can get more, £12,000. Obviously, this is because London is an expensive place to live and you'll need more money while you're there. There is other support available, and if you think you might be able to apply for any of these, you need to look into it sooner rather than later, just so that you know whether you're entitled. These include disabled students allowance, which incorporates a whole range of disabilities, adult dependent grants, so if you have people at home who are depending on you, if you have children, NHS students can get a grant and a bursary, and there is also money available for childcare. So do look into those things. This chart shows you how they actually carry out the means testing part that I've been talking about. You will see the household income, and basically what they do is they look at that household income and then they decide how much the household can afford to give you. So if your household income is below £25,000, they think, well, actually, no, that family can't afford to give you any money, so they will give you the whole loan of £9,203. As you go up, as the household income increases, the amount of loan decreases, because the expectation is that the family, your parents probably, will be able to contribute more to you. So you can see as you get up to the 60,000 plus, they're expecting the family to pay pretty much half of the money that you'll be getting. Now, you might not know what your household income is, but now is a good time to have a chat with your family and let them know that that's how it works. And then they can think about, will they be able to contribute any money to you? Applying for student finance is all done online. You don't really need to worry about this right now, but you do need to be aware that your parents or guardians or your partner will need to fill in part of the student finance application. They will also need proof of ID, so you will need to provide a passport if you have one. You might need to provide your birth certificate. So it's just a good time to start thinking about getting those things in order. Repayment is something that people are always very interested in. You do have to repay the money, but they don't start taking any money back until you are earning over £25,000 a year. and then you will repay 9% of what you earn over that 25,000. You can overpay if you want. If you were earning more money and you wanted to get it paid off, you can overpay. But if you're not earning enough, then you don't have to pay. The loan is also cancelled after 30 years. I'll give you a couple of examples of repayments. So, Anisha is earning £35,000 per year. Her income before tax is £2,916 per month. So her student loan repayment is £69.57 per month, which isn't a great deal out of the amount that she's getting per month. You can see there that the person earning £30,000 is paying around £32.13 back, and someone who's earning just under £25,000 not paying anything back. You can only pay back when you are earning. Many people earning over the £25,000 will actually never pay it all back. Generally, only those towards the higher end of the income scale will ever repay all of what they borrowed. But that's not a problem. You just repay what you can. So even if you think, oh my God, I've got all this debt, it's not. It's not the same as a bank loan. It won't go on your credit file. It's not like a loan or a mortgage. There's no debt collectors going to come for it. It's a very different way of borrowing money. So you don't need to be afraid of it. It shouldn't go it shouldn't stop you from getting a loan or a credit card or a mortgage in the future, because you're paying it out of your salary directly. So you can't really default on it. If you're earning money and you've declared you've got a student loan, then you'll be paying it back as you're earning. So it will never cause you a problem. So yeah, if you think about it, it's not really a debt. It's basically more of a graduate tax. You're just going to be paying a bit more every month. When you get your wage slip, it will say that you've paid national insurance, it will say that you've paid tax, and then it will say that you've had a student loan repayment go out as well. Your debt will not go to your parents, it will not go to anybody else, it remains your student loan. If you were to pass away and before the loan had been paid off, then the loan would be cancelled. So it is a different way of thinking about it. Some people are very debt averse, and in a way that's a good way to be. But this is a very different type of loan. So it shouldn't be a barrier to you to think, oh my God, I'm going to be in all this debt. If you manage your money while you're at university, then the student loan part is not going to be a huge millstone for you. It is just another thing that you'll be repaying as like a tax as you work. So if we go back to our true or false, you don't need to have your family saving money for you as soon as you're born. The student loan system is there so that anybody can afford to go to university. Student loan repayments can cost the same as a couple of takeaway coffees a week. If you think you're paying £3 or £4 a cup of coffee and you have that a couple of times a week over a month, that could be how much you're paying back. And your loan will never end up being passed on to your children, so that one's false as well. Thank you for listening. Unfortunately, I haven't got the ability to take questions on the virtual presentation, but take your places here. You will have somebody in your school who's able to answer questions about student finance. The Student Finance England website is very good. Their Twitter page is very good. Do check that out. They will respond to questions pretty quickly if you ask them on Student Finance England Twitter page as well. Thank you for listening, and I hope that this has been a helpful presentation.